Another day, another loss. It's getting kind of repetitive and a little bit annoying that the Toronto Raptors just keep finding new ways to lose these games against really good teams. And look, these are two teams on a very different trajectory, on a very different timeline. And I do think that the Timberwolves, especially with Ayo Dosunmu, are just maybe in a different class of team than the Toronto Raptors. Oof. Bill Withers with a very early super chat. Scotty has a higher ceiling than Ant as an all around player. I think so. You, Bill, and I might be I, and maybe Darko and maybe Masai sitting on South Beach might be the only people who believe that. But sure, I absolutely believe it. There were moments today where Scotty looked awesome. Scotty hit threes tonight, which was awesome. RJ Barrett hit threes tonight, which was awesome. The Raptors still lost because Brandon Ingram couldn't hit anything into the ocean, right? Because Jamal Shed probably had one of his worst games as a professional basketball player. Because I think CMB is really missing. Because I think Darko really needs to consider playing Trace Jackson Davis. Garbage time was fun. Garbage time was interesting. The last 3 minutes of this game were very interesting. The last 3 to 4 minutes, Trace Jackson Davis with 3 offensive rebounds. Grady Dick with 6 or 8 points. That was cool. That was interesting. Okay. Guy is trash. Who is trash? Who is trash? Trace Jackson Davis? No. No, you will not disrespect Trace Jackson Davis here. Nice one. Trace is cool, man. I think with CMB out, I don't understand why Trace can't get into the game. I really can't. Worst case scenario, he's still a really good rim protector and an incredible offensive rebounder. He puts a ton of pressure in the middle of the floor. I understand that maybe you find the spacing untenable with Scotty and RJ on the court as well, but it's not like the spacing's any better with Jakob Poeltl. He's a good screener. He would help. He would help a lot. The positive, you want to look for positives in this game? The Raptors won the plus Scotty minutes by 3, and they won the RJ minutes by 3. You want a negative? They lost the Brandon Ingram minutes by 27, and that does matter. So the Raptors come out to a very strong start in this game. Scotty goes to the bench for his first stint. The Raptors give up the lead. We get back into the second quarter. The Raptors maintain. Things look okay. The Raptors even pick up a lead at one point. And then we go into the third quarter, and it's pretty even Steven. Scotty goes to the bench. The whole thing falls apart completely. I don't think Darko has necessarily the greatest handle on when his team is about to piss away like a 14-0 run. And I think these runs need to be stopped a little bit better. I don't understand what he's supposed to do entirely. It's not like he didn't have starters on the court. It's not like Brandon Ingram is supposed to be choking away minutes like this. Let's take a look. The Toronto Raptors have now lost 2 straight and 4 of their last 5. This is depressing. The only team you've beaten since February 23rd is the Washington Wizards. And even that team in the third quarter, you were neck and neck with them. The Raptors are not playing good basketball right now. They're not playing good basketball at all. And there's not a lot of time to get this shit back on the road, man, because Jason Tatum is coming back tomorrow, allegedly. So that's another team. Today on the panel, I was asked whether the Toronto Raptors, or I don't know if I was asked or if I unprompted gave this, Raptors or Hornets. And I was like, Hornets, clearly Hornets. What are we doing here? Of course, the Hornets. Not what team do I like more, not what team do I love more. Obviously, the Raptors. I love the Raptors more than any professional team, period. It's what team do I believe in more in the playoffs? Yeah, the team with elite spacing that's playing the best basketball of their lives going down the stretch. Yeah, I'll take that team. The team with, weirdly enough, a better defense over the last, 10, 12, 15 games. Yeah, it's the Hornets, the team that can hit threes. The Hornets. That's not to say that the Toronto Raptors don't have pieces that I believe in. It's just unfortunate a lot of those pieces are not playing really good basketball right now. So let's take a look at this game. So first and foremost, a shout out to RJ Barrett, who played a really reasonable game. And I'm not just saying that because of the box score. I mean, it was good. Offensively, at least, it was good. Defensively, it was competitive, although I do believe that he and Emmanuel quickly give up so much at times in terms of, just blow-bys. And Scotty's not lower in the defense right now because for whatever reason, they're choosing to play him higher up in the defense. But this is the game right here, right? You get out to this big lead, 15-5, right? There's 7 lead changes in this game. Then Scotty goes to the bench, and then suddenly it's 29-27. So you lose the lead. Then you get the lead back, right? Like you're right here, 51-51. And then, yeah, like 49-42. You're back, right? Once again, RJ and Scotty minutes. And then you get into the third quarter, and you're neck and neck, 66-65. You're like, okay, here comes another one. I don't think even at 66-65 on the road, I don't think anyone was like, oh, yeah, the Raptors definitely got this. I feel good about this. The Raptors are going to win this game. I did not feel the Raptors were going to win this game, but I did not expect that when the score was 66-65, that the next time I would look up, it would be 88-72. That is a pretty mega lead. And for a team that managed to score, let's just do some quick math here. So from the 7:48 mark of the third quarter, they had 65 points, right? They managed over the next 6 minutes, 7 points, and proceeded to give up like almost 20 points. And that's the game. I mean, you keep it pretty much till here, and this is around when Darko threw the towel at about, right here. But the 5-minute mark, 4-minute mark right here. And then 95-111. And then the Raptors, G League unit, not G League unit, but Grady, Trace Jackson Davis, I think Jamal Shed was on the court. They come back and they close this to a respectable amount. So if you didn't watch this game at all, you're like, 8-point loss. That's not that bad. On the road, that's not that bad. No, man, this game was a mollywhopping. This game was a stomping. So we need to talk about what is going on with the Raptors. Let's talk about the individual performances for a second here. First of all, Brandon Ingram, right? Second straight game where he gets a backcourt violation, just dribbling the basketball up the court. And, Matt Devlin is scrambling for excuses to explain why the $40 million player cannot bring the ball up the court. So he starts saying, like, they got to give him an outlet. An outlet for what? An outlet for what, man? What do you want a fucking outlet for? He is just dribbling the ball up the court. He's not trapped. He's just casually dribbling the ball up the court. As Scotty sets a screen, he goes around the screen, and then 8 minutes has elapsed, and he doesn't know. No, we don't need somebody to give him an outlet. We need someone to give him a fucking clock. Like we need Brandon Ingram to have a 8-second timer or a 6-second timer on his hand, right? That was a very stupid excuse. I just want to say about the broadcast. I understand the broadcast is supposed to be homers and supposed to defend the players and whatnot, especially that unless that player is Scotty. We're not going to defend Scotty Barnes, right? If we're the home broadcast, we're always going to be like, Scotty needs to be better. But Brandon Ingram, oh yeah, he needs an outlet to dribble the ball up the court. Come on, man. That's stupid. RJ Barrett was very efficient and also an outlier shooting performance from both the line and three. Shoot 75% from the line and 80% from three. The Raptors as a team have an outlier shooting performance, 43% from three. They were shooting 50% from three at the half. That is an outlier performance for a team that regularly shoots 32%. Very outlier performance. And it's not because you got some crazy 3-point shooting percentage from Immanuel Quickley and Brandon Ingram, both of whom were somewhat limited in their attempts. They combined for a total of 5 attempts and 2 makes, both makes by Immanuel Quickley. Obviously, Jakob Poeltl is not contributing to this. So really, it's Scotty Barnes. That's crazy. Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett made up 66% of your threes tonight. You got 1 3 off the bench from Sandro Mamukelashvili, who had, at least compared to his last few games, a bit of a bounce back game. Also may have snapped Naz Reid's shoulder, not, on that loose ball, but better game than usual from Sandro Mamukelashvili. Jonathan Mobo got into the game very early. He produced zeros, in the scoring column, but I think there were a couple possessions where at least he pushed the ball on the break, and he technically did win his minutes by 4 in the 9 minutes he was on. So at least that's not necessarily negative, but also he's not being guarded out there. He had 2 turnovers, so not exactly a positive performance by any means from Jonathan Mobo. And then, you have Jacoby Walter, who for a lot of the season I've been pushing that Jacoby is the guy. Jacoby is going to, emerge. Look, man, I still have long-term faith in Jacoby, but right now he's not bringing it. He's really not. You can't be going 0 for 2 in 17 minutes. Now, the Wolves are a pretty good defense. They have really good wing defenders. Ayo is a good defender. Ant is not a great defender, but at least on the ball, he's pretty good. So if you're not going to cut him off all day off the ball, then you're going to struggle. Jaden McDaniels obviously a great defender, and then Rudy Gobert is just there to clean everything up. So, in terms of like an overall team thing, they had much more coming off their team, including off the bench, where they got Ayo Dosunmu, new addition, and Naz Reid combined for 25 points off the bench. You want to look at this game and you want to say Anthony Edwards had 8 points in the first half. So you did a pretty good job eliminating him. Shout outs to Scotty Barnes. Emmanuel quickly probably won his matchup against Dante DiVincenzo, I would say. Rudy Gobert clearly owned his matchup with Jakob Poeltl, but I don't think Yak played badly per se, but he was very defensively compromised. They attacked him relentlessly. I think Scotty won his matchup with Julius Randle, and I think RJ won his matchup with Jaden McDaniels. Okay, so who really is I don't want to say to blame, but where is the difference in these two teams? Well, I don't know. They have Naz Reid and Ayo Dosunmu coming off the bench, and you have Sandro Mamukelashvili and Jamal Shed. Because effectively in this game, you went with a pretty short rotation. You went with a tight 8-man rotation. I agree. That dunk by Ant was pretty sick, for sure. Although, as a Raptor fan, I would rather he lay it up. Be polite, Ant. Our team is going through something right now. Obviously, Bones Highland coming off the bench didn't provide very much. His role has been drastically reduced with the addition of Ayo Dosunmu and the departure of Rob Dillingham. And so, look, like we're at this point right now where I think we need to talk about bigger picture shit. Now, I apologize. I have been a little bit MIA. And I understand that at this point, a lot of people are just like kind of taking a wait and see approach on the Raptors, like the early season hype of what this team could be, beating OKC, going on the 9-game win streak. Those things feel like they happened 500 years ago. I understand a lot of people are not going to be staying up at 11:45, especially when I'm pushing these lives forward. Would you like to know why I pushed this live forward? Would anyone like to know? Well, initially this live was scheduled for 10:50, and at 10:51, my thank you, man. Eric's point of view, you had Penn Nance. We understand, my G. I appreciate you very, very much. Obviously, we still have the Penn Nance branding up right now. We're still doing wrap up for Penn Nance. I will not devote any portion of this show to extensively talk about anything that's happening with Penn Nance. The AI situation is over at this point. But the reason I had to postpone this live is because 5 minutes left in this game, and guess what? Your boy fell asleep sitting up like this, like literally just like this. And my girlfriend tapped me on my shoulder and she's like, Rob, don't you have a live? And I was like, what time is it? Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm fucked. So I decided I was going to take a shower before I did this live because I didn't want to look totally exhausted. But I am so tired. I am so insanely tired. And this game did not help, man. It did not help. It was exhausting to watch this team get beat up in such predictable ways. It was exhausting to watch the defense look the way that it has. It's exhausting to watch the Raptors run out a shorter rotation and end up pretty much with the same results. Nice one saying Bet Penn Nance was lit. Welcome back to the grind, my brother. Yeah, it was great. Penn Nance was great. Good performance today on the panel. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think I was doing a pretty good job on the panel today. For real, I thought I was doing a pretty good job on the panel. I did not see any comments dissecting my performance in any bad way or whatever. I was trying to keep it even keel. I'm trying to be a little bit more succinct with my points on the panel. That's also going to help. Teacher Mike saying that's life, man. I do that all the time now. No, I do not want to fall asleep sitting up watching my favorite team, but honestly, it is boring. It is a little bit boring. I hate to say it, but it's a little bit boring, man, because I know what's going to happen. I'm just waiting for it to happen. It doesn't feel like this team has the pecking order. Look, man, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even, we were able to see Scotty Barnes go on these momentous, like fourth quarter runs where he would put up like 12, 15, 16, 17 points, right? By himself. And he's so much better now. He's so much better now. You see that move he pulled off on Randall where he kind of like, and then just turn around. Like some of the moves he does now are so great, but right now it just feels like he's really hurt. And I don't know if people are watching, between the scenes, between the cuts, when they're showing something else, but he's off in the background. They're doing obviously a very good job. The broadcast is doing a great job of You won the challenge on MC and they took it away from you for MC shit. Sorry, you won the challenge on PC. Wow. Speaking of winning a challenge, we're reading comments. You won the challenge on PC and they took it away from you for MC shit. I agree with you. So basically, to those who don't know, Swiper decided that Damien and I were going to have a read off, right? For super chats because we were joking about who can read super chats better. And I refused to name MC, which is Magic City, which is a strip club in Atlanta, very famous strip club that is doing a promotion. And Luke Cornett had basically made this post saying that the NBA should not affiliate with, Magic City because we want to be pro women and we want to be pro um, inclusivity for women and safety for women and all that stuff. And I just didn't know we were able to talk about that. It's a very politically divisive issue. If women were watching, I don't know if we wanted to really touch into that. Also, looking at, sometimes you look at the crowd, you look at the people around you, you're like, do I really want to be having a sensitive conversation about women's rights here? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. I've heard Ox talk a lot. I'm just like, maybe we should probably steer away from this conversation. So I just said MC, and they're like, "What's MC, Pen?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're always trying to get me to say the N word. So I thought they were trying to bait me into saying it, and I wasn't supposed to say it. So I didn't say it. And they're just like, "Oh, if you're not going to say it," of course I know about it. I read Luke Cornett's entire statement. But, anyways, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I did win. I did win. So I'm definitely not going to be out next week. But if I am out next week, I'm catching up on sleep. Holy shit, I'm tired. Like the exhaustion of pen dance. Usually when I'm after pen dance, I usually just crash or I play video games. That's what I do. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to make basketball content. I don't want to make videos. I'm not ambitious. I just want to sleep and I want to play video games and I want to binge watch The Office. That's usually what I want to do. That's not what I've done this month. And I want to actually share something with y'all. I want to share something with y'all because I think it's really funny. It's not necessarily pen dance related. It's more like Rob related. And today we had a meeting with a sponsor. Okay, now we're very, very serious about making this a much, much bigger thing next year. I'm sick and tired of doing this shit with very little money. We don't take money from the government because I genuinely don't believe in taking government grants and being a slave and a bitch to the Canadian government, their political correctness, and all that bullshit. Give me a W if you feel me on that one, by the way. I don't know about you guys, but man, this shit is restrictive. Like, you can't program this, you can program this. Well, why don't I fucking just, I don't know, go mop a closet? So I decided to try and seek out like big sponsors, like banks and, like things that maybe, I mean, not gambling companies, but just big money sponsors, airlines, banks, car dealerships. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at because I think we have something very unique and very interesting, and I think people love it. Apart from the anti-AI crazy people crowd, but I think most people really love what we're doing. And so I met up with a sponsor today, and we're having this Google Meets call, and I thought it was very interesting because I was like, "Cool, man. We haven't been at this very long. We already got this meeting. It's great." And immediately, so tell me about your festival. What is this? So immediately you're kind of put off. You're like, okay, why would you take this meeting if you haven't even looked us up, or have you looked us up and you just want to hear it from me? So I bypassed that initial dismissiveness, and I kept going into it with this very positive attitude, right? Like, I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to believe in the outcome that at the end of this call, this guy is going to say, "We love what you're doing, and we want to give you $10,000 or $20,000 or whatever." And at one point, he just said, he's like, "So like screen movies and like, so he kind of said it in like a very dismissive way, like, so what makes you different from the 100 other film festivals in this city?" And then he said, I want to get the quote right because I don't want to misquote him, but I'm also not mentioning who it is, so I don't feel like I'm legally, in trouble if I say the wrong thing. But there was something along the lines, I want to paraphrase, "You're lucky to get this meeting. This would be the smallest sponsorship we've ever done. Like, what you need isn't that much. This would be the smallest sponsorship you've ever done." Um, and at that point, you know, my mind just started to blur a little bit. And I was just like, okay, how do I deal with the disrespect that's coming my way? On the one hand, there is a person who holds the cards to maybe us being able to pay our team and maybe afford a better venue, maybe afford some sponsorships and then some more support and travel for the filmmakers. And on the other side, there is my own credo, my own code of ethics, which says don't allow people to disrespect you and don't take disrespect from anybody. It's like the little hood rat in me is just like, motherfucker, who you talking to? Like you trying to disrespect me? Like, do you know who I am? So I was just like, okay, don't get angry, but just politely ask that he not talk down to you. And then I politely asked that he not talk down to me. And then he reiterated, he's like, "Well, what do you want? You're lucky to get the meeting. I have another call in like 30 minutes talking to another thing, whatever." And I just left. I was like, you know what? One of our really, really important things for me next year is I want to work only with good people. I want to work only with good people. I want to work with good people at the festival. I want to work with good people as sponsors. I want to know that the people I'm working with are people that I want to rise up with. And he's like, "What does that have to do with anything?" And I was just like, "Thank you for your time." Done. I left, closed the browser window. Done. Don't want to have anything to do with it. Any company that would hire someone like that to talk to someone in the arts is not a company we want to do business with. I I got to tell you, in life and in business, I feel you have to have a code of ethics, otherwise you will bend to everybody. But I also feel like you have to have a sense of confidence without getting arrogant. I know that that would be the smallest sponsorship that they've probably ever done. I know that. Like, I've seen some of the bigger companies that they work with. I know that we'd be very lucky to get some money from them, but I also know that I have to sleep at night. I do have to sleep at night, and it's not just gambling sponsorships or whatever. At one point, I I mentioned that we had that at Pensare Basketball we had turned down all of these sponsorships, for gambling companies, and he's like, "Why do I need to know that?" And I'm like, "I think you just need to understand the type of person that you're dealing with." He's like, "I don't really care about that. Let's move on." And I was just like, "Okay, well, this level of dismissiveness of like, look, we're this big company and you're this super small person, and we're not gonna." That's cool, man. That's cool. I've met a lot of really big people in my life. I've met a lot of really talented people. I've met a lot of really awesome people. I've met basketball players. I've met coaches. I have never met a person who is really big in their field and then they treat others like shit. That's not what big people do. Big people elevate others. That's what big people should do. So when I meet someone that's kind of power tripping on a smaller, I want to call it smaller festival, we're a pretty big film festival, but I understand compared to TIFF and some of the other festivals that they support, we're nothing. I get it. I get it totally, dude. I'm not complaining. I'm not comparing. I'm not like, okay, well, there's TIFF and then there's Pendants. No, I'm not stupid. I understand the economics. I've read TIFF's fucking financial statements. I know what money they bring to the city. I also know they take a lot of money from the city, just an FYI. Just want to say that out there. So look, man, we're gonna do it our way. We're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna do it as good people. Do you know how many times I heard the words "I love you" coming from a random person this month? Like this past weekend? Like so random. I love you. I love Pendants. I love what you guys are doing. Audience, filmmakers, everybody, sponsors, venue, waitress, g- bartender. I just love you guys. Love you guys. The gala DJ. Oh man, I would ride to the end of the earth with you guys. You guys are amazing. The best people I've ever met. Okay, cool. People love what we're doing. We're just going to tell more people about it. And look, man, I don't care. Come hell or high water. I don't give a shit if I have to finance this through Pensar Basketball Super Chats. I don't fucking care. I am going to do this our way. I'm going to try to make sure that I work as hard as possible. And you know what? This time next year, if we have no money from sponsorships, it will not be because I didn't try. But if we do have money from sponsorships, it won't be because I sold my fucking soul to the devil. Because a lot of these companies are really just bad people. I don't know what else to tell you. They're faceless entities. They're corporate greed. And this is just, I don't want this festival to be a way for some company to feel better about themselves. I don't want that. Now I know I'm being kind of like just my own weird self where I'm like, no, it's got to be like this and not like this. And most people would just be like, Just take the money. What are you doing? $20,000 is $20,000. It all converts the same. It all buys groceries for everybody. It all pays rent. But man, it's really not. It's really not. $20,000 is not just $20,000. I'm sorry. Like if I found out that $20,000 came from a sex trafficking ring, would I be okay with taking $20,000 knowing my festival is being funded by that? Like I feel like the ends justify the means is why the world is the way that it is. I honestly believe that. Like I feel the ends justify the means is why people like Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein get to do what they do for as long as they do it. Right? The ends do not justify the means. I don't know who needs to hear that. The ends absolutely do not justify the means. How you get there is quintessentially important. And the fact that you would get there as a good person, even if you have a little less money, is okay. You can take a little less money. I remember this was in 2017. Uh, there was this very independently wealthy person, and he had been introduced to me by our makeup artist, who was a really good friend of mine. And she introduced me to this guy, and he had a lot of money, and he wanted some commercial done for one of his companies, and he was very show offy. Okay, like this is the guy who goes out and he wants to get the most expensive bottle of wine. He wants to take you to the private booth. He wants to show you his private club. He wants to invite you on his fucking private yacht. And okay, we get it, bro. You have money. Cool. I'm not impressed personally. I'm really not impressed. Like break bread with a homeless person and don't like with your hands after, I'll be impressed with you. You having a private yacht and hanging out with some, bullshit baddies from Instagram is not impressing me at all. But anyways, he was trying to impress us with that stuff, and then he handed us $10,000 to do this casting call for him because he wanted a commercial done for one of his companies. So we did it. We took the $10,000 and we did this casting call, and then in order to celebrate that, he took me and a couple of other people from our team to a club. And I had known that he was married. So we were at the club, and I had a girlfriend at the time. He knew that as well, by the way. And he introduced me to this girl, and I don't really pick up on the clues because I'm very socially unaware sometimes. Like people will say things to me and I just don't pick up the clues. And so he was introducing me to this girl, and she's sitting next to me, and we're talking, whatever. And then I see him across, and he is fucking his face is in this other woman's chest. He's totally cheating on his wife, disrespecting the shit out of her in front of everybody. And I'm like, man, a man who this brazenly cheat on his wife, do I really want to be working with this guy, right? Kind of got that feeling. Just kind of got that feeling. And then a couple things he said, maybe the next day. And then we were doing the casting for the advertisement. And then, he kind of nudged me on one of the women who could not act, by the way, could not fucking act at all. This woman had really big plastic tits. She couldn't act for shit. She was young. She was very conventionally attractive, I guess, for somebody who likes plastic tits. She was very attractive. And she flirted with him a little bit on the way in, and I noticed that. She's like, "Oh, who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm the owner of the company, and my name is this, and my name is that." Notice I'm very side skirting getting sued here. And I remember when we were looking over the casting tapes after, all of the auditions, he was just like, "Oh, that one, I really like that one. You should hire that one. You can pick the guy, but I really want that one." And I was just like, "She can't act." He's like, "Yeah, but I'm paying you, so make it happen. You're a good director, right? You're a good director, right?" And that's when I knew that this promise that he had made me. So I guess stupid storytelling me, I didn't could include the rest of the part. He had told me that if we do this well, that he will give me $50,000 an episode for a 6-episode web series, and then if that goes well, he'd give me $1 million for a feature script that I was working on. I can't tell you in 2017 what a fucking carrot he was dangling in front of me with a web series for $60,000. Sorry, $50,000 and $40,000, 50,000. My memory's phasey, but basically enough for all of us to get really paid. We had a team of 7 people. We would have all gotten super paid. And my team really did not like when I told them we cannot work with this guy. We cannot work with this guy because the way that this dude is floating. In 3 days, I found out that he is openly, brazenly cheating on his wife. And then I also find out that he is trying to basically fuck this actress and she cannot act. So what's going to happen when you get to the feature film is he's going to want to cast 2-3 young girls that are going to be willing to suck his dick. And I'm sorry for the language, whatever, but sorry, I'm just being like unfiltered about this. And I was just like, you know what? No, I worked since I was 13 years old, dude. I worked since I was 13 years old and I worked damn hard because I didn't want to be a slave to anybody. You understand? I didn't want anyone to be able to hold rent money over my head and be like, well, you got to do this or else. No, no. My first job, my first ever job, I will never forget this. Okay. This is integrity. I was making $5 an hour. I was working at a convenience store and I worked there for about 3 to 4 months at that point. One day I came in, I had bad allergies, really bad allergies. I have bad summer allergies sometimes from pollen and ragweed and shit. So I'd taken a lot, I think it was Benadryl for allergies. I don't know, whatever people take, Claritin. It made me very drowsy. Whatever the fuck I took, it made me very drowsy. So I was fighting to stay awake, and I did not drink coffee at the time. So I'm just fighting myself to stay awake. My job was extremely, let's call it boring, tedious, repetitive, labor intensive. I would stack milk in the back. I would change magazines. I would do inventory. I would stack cigarettes. I would clean the floors. I would mop. Um, I would stack the shelves. That was my job. I was a stock boy basically and a cleaner and basically generally illegal labor for $5 an hour. But $5 an hour was a lot of money to me back then. So one day he told me to I thought he told me to stack the paper towels. And then I don't know if you know this, but on the supermarket aisles, you have one side and you have another side. So what I didn't realize was he told me to stack them. I thought he told me to take them down. So I'm on one side, I'm taking them down one by one. He's on the other side, he's putting them up one by one. Okay. By the time he's done, which is crazy, by the time he's done, I have already taken down every single thing he's put up. He put his hands up and he was about to hit me. Now, he did not actually hit me, but that was enough for me um, to start a new business. Now, I would love to tell you that I was some scrupulous little boy who was 13 years old who just decided that he was gonna quit on principle. That's not what I did, though. No, I decided to say fuck the principles at that point. And what I did was every single day. Now, I can admit to a crime that happened in the United States when I was 13 years old because the statute of limitations has passed. Please do not do as I say, but do not do as I did, but do as I say. I do not encourage anyone to do this. But I had basically this plan. So every single day that I would work, there would be new magazines that would come. A lot of them were adult magazines. This is the year 2000. So there weren't exactly a lot of like options online like y'all have now. Most people just had magazines and the Playboy channel. So here's what I did every single day because this guy had raised his hand at me and was underpaying me and all that stuff and whatever justification I used in my head. I would come and every single day I would accidentally drop one of those adult magazines into the recycling every day, every time. So as I'm sorting them out, I'm putting them, I just drop one into the recycling. He doesn't care because we're already dropping a whole bunch of other paper into the recycling. Then at the end of my shift, every single time my shift would be over, I would take the recycling out, I would put it in the back, and then I would come back inside, I would mop up, I would clean up. Then I would drive my bike away, wait for 5 minutes, come back, pick up the bag, open it up, grab the magazine, and then at school, super, super unethical, by the way, whatever kid just had a birthday, I would just be like, yo, I got a magazine for you. You want to spend? I would always sell these magazines for either 25, 30, 40, 50, $60, depending on the magazine that it was. That was my side hustle. That was my first side hustle. My second side hustle was a lot less controversial than my first side hustle. My point is, that's not what I would do today. Today, if somebody put their hand up like that, I would just leave because I don't like to be in rooms where people do that stuff. So I worked really hard between the ages of 13 and 21, 22 to put myself in a position where I didn't have to do things. Does that make sense? Like, I'm willing to do things. I'm willing to work as hard as possible. Like, I worked 85 hours to 90 hours a week for the last month. I am exhausted. I am fucking exhausted. I could barely form coherent sentences. by the time by the time Penance was done. I'm not shy from work. I'll work as hard as possible. Even this year, I'm gonna work harder than I've ever worked before this year because my brain is finally recovering from all the fluid retention. Y'all see my face? Is it looking better than it was a couple of months ago? Can you see my face? Right? We're looking a little bit better. We're getting back into the right area. We're gonna look a lot better in a month from now, 2 months from now. Y'all remember all the like fucking like dark spots on my face? I mean, they're going away slowly. Like my girlfriend's noticing every day. She's like, "Oh, it looks better. It looks better every single day." But anyways, that's my long story is to say, um, as a human being, the greatest thing that you can say is, "I'm not for sale." That my integrity and my um, principles are not for sale. I used to hear this story. My mother used to tell me this story when I was very young, and I wonder how much it's shaped me because I find myself identifying with it a lot. She said that her grandfather was a lawyer in Italy, and if he found out that someone was guilty, he wouldn't represent them. Under your right eye is puffy. Right here. Yeah, it is. You're right. It is. It's still puffy. Yeah, for sure. Baba G Cut said, "I like you're growing your beard again after certain somebody said they don't listen to grown men who don't have facial hair." Who said that? Who said they don't listen to grown men who don't have facial hair? The lack of excitement in some of the Raps recent game recently has given us some nice stories. Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to beat a dead horse here? Am I supposed to be like, well, the Raptors defense was porous. Baba G Cut, real talk. Oh, did he? Well, if Real Talk said it, I guess I got to shave for right now. I'm not even kidding. I'm like literally going to write it down right now. Go shave. I don't want anyone to think that I grew a fucking beard because Real Talk thinks that men who don't have beards cannot be taken seriously. I will, dude. I don't know if there's anything more than shaving your beard that I can do. I'll shave my head too, bro. Fuck this. Nah, I'm good. Nah. Nah, we don't care what Real Talk has to say about that shit. But nevertheless, I think for the Raptors right now, the most important thing will be to just find a rhythm to their defense again, to get Scotty healthy. I said this last game as well. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. To just make sure that Scotty and RJ are healthy. Now, this is really positive that those two guys played well today because this might be a step in the right direction. And I don't think that it's any necessarily indication of some decline that Brandon Ingram's on because he played really well against the Knicks. What is the fullest, longest you've grown the beard? It's gotten really disgusting. Now, I just want people to know my beard does not flow. It does not grow long like Santa Claus. It's just stubble. It's kind of like it's not smooth. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe some people have like really smooth beards. I do not. What the hell? Why do I have so much light on my face? What's going on here? Too much blue light on my face. Yeah. Now the facial hair suits you. Honestly, man, I just don't like facial hair. I'm gonna be honest with you. Anytime I have facial hair, please know it is for one reason and one reason only. It's because I'm too lazy to shave. That is the only reason I ever have facial hair. If you ever see me with facial hair longer than this, just know I have pretty much given up on my looks for that month. I do not like it. I think it's hiding something. You know what I mean? Like at Penn Dance, I kind of wish I had more facial hair because there's so many pictures captured of me from the side where my face looks so bad because I've kind of like retained a lot of like fluid here and fluid here. It just makes the beard kind of just makes you look a little bit cleaner. Like it kind of cuts out some of the fat on your face. But I'm not really trying to cut out anything, bro. I'd rather see my jawline and see that it's not defined than hide it under a beard. You know what I mean? I find like a lot of older men have beards. It's not fun. Anyways, I'm going to stop doing these lives so late because obviously the numbers tank. We've gone from having like 300 to 400 people every single live to since I've come back, we've had around 250 to now 100, which is predictable after losses, but also not really that predictable. But I also don't expect people to stay up an extra 50 minutes or 40 minutes after a bad game has ended to be part of a live. In fairness, I think a lot of people are going to watch this tomorrow. But that being said, my bad. I'm going to stop doing these lives so late. This is the last one. I apologize, and we're back to members' lives this Sunday as well. Um, is this game worth a film breakdown per se? Not really, not really. There's nothing new here, right? Uh, TVK Chennai Nadu said, I follow the Pendants account, but I never seen your face in any of the posts. That's not true. That's not true. There's a post with me, isn't there? There has to be. There has been a recent decline in Rap's interest on social media. Yeah, I figured that for sure. Okay, let's see here. Let us confirm that what you are saying is true. No pictures of me, you say. Dude, I'm right here. There you go. Picture of me. Hidden by words, but still, it is a picture of me. Oh, like at the festival. Well, that's not entirely true. You want to see a horrible picture of me? Here, look at a horrible picture of me. 1 second. Here we go. This is truly awful. I cannot believe I posted this, but I was just like, fuck it. Let's just post this. There you go. There's a picture of me posted. These two are the coolest. These two are the coolest human beings ever. Pen, what do you think of Wemby's performance tonight? I did not watch it. Sorry. I'm assuming the Spurs won by a lot against the Pistons, but I did not watch it. One win against a healthy and good team, and we are back as fuck. Well, a lot of implications for the Raptors right now. There's a lot of teams catching up behind them from a scheduling perspective. I just want to look at the standings real quick here. So let's just look at the NBA standings. Okay, so that is the NBA Cup. My bad. So in terms of the standings, the Raptors have now fallen to fifth. I mean, they've been at fifth for a while now, but they're falling significantly behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are now a full 3.5 games behind the Cavaliers, which really sucks. They're 35 wins and 27 losses, which is getting dangerously close to 500. So 5-5 over the last 10, not good. Among the top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference, they are the worst over the last 10 games. That's worth noting. The only saving grace here is that the gap between them and the Sixers is not necessarily growing. The Sixers are also the only team with a negative net differential among the top 10 teams. That's also interesting. I don't like the Raptors' odds in the play-in tournament at all. I don't like it in a one-game situation. Any team getting hot or whatever is really scary. But right now, the Raptors are 1 game ahead of the Philadelphia 76ers, and they are 1.5 games ahead of the 7th place Orlando Magic. Lose for another week, and the Toronto Raptors are going to be play-in bound, at which point you're going to be facing the Miami Heat, the Charlotte Hornets, who are catching up very fast, or the Atlanta Hawks. I don't like our odds against most of those teams. I'm going to be honest with you. I think we can beat the Magic. I think maybe we can beat the Sixers. I don't love us against the Hornets. I think we can beat the Heat. But against the Cavs, the Knicks, a healthy Boston team, yikes. I'm old enough to remember when you said before the season that you would be okay with tanking for AJ if the season went off the rails. Yeah, but it's unfortunately a little too late to be tanking for AJ because you have the Milwaukee Bucks who are 26 and 35. You're not catching those guys. So you're not going to miss the play-in. At best case, what you're going to do is if you miss the playoffs, let's just say you fall down the play-in, are you going to be worse than the 23 win, 21 win, 19 win, 19 win, and 7 win? No. So that's 4 teams right there. You're probably not going to be worse than the Blazers. You're probably going to be around where the Clippers are, maybe. So at that point, you would be like 12th in lottery odds, maybe 12th, 13th. 13th. That's not really tanking for AJ. So I think I would have been okay for tanking with if the season happened in inverse. So let's say the Raptors didn't had the 9-game win streak later, and then they had a rough start. Like I think they already started like 1-4 or 2-5. So let's just say that had continued for a little bit, and the Raptors were, I don't know, 10-22. I would have been okay pulling the plug on the season, trading somebody, trading RJ, trading Brandon Ingram, and just calling a day. Yeah, I love AJ DeBonsa. I think AJ DeBonsa is amazing. Get the luck the Mavs got? Well, the league is not going to gift us what the Mavs got. Let us I mean, look, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial. Obviously, the lottery is not rigged, the lottery is random, et cetera, et cetera. But I do think whether it is AJ DeBonsa or Caleb Wilson or if it is Bennett Sturts or Dash Daniels, the Raptors need talent. And I do believe that talent can be more easily and readily found in this draft if you are drafting 15th, 16th, as opposed to 22nd or 23rd. I also believe that the Raptors getting home court advantage helps absolutely nobody other than MLSE. Excuse me. Dude, you don't know me if you're asking me this question. AJ all the way. I am 100% Team AJ. Now, of course, I could be Team AJ because I know his trainer, and maybe that's tinting my bias. But honestly, I'm Team AJ well before I got to know his trainer. Well before I got to know his trainer. And I think the stuff with Darren Peterson not wanting to, having this sort of laissez-faire attitude about playing games and seeing AJ go out there and play 40 minutes, dude, give me AJ. AJ's going to win. I don't know if Darren's going to win. I really don't. But Darren's a hell of a talent. Certainly a hell of a talent. I would take him over Cam Boozer. But when it comes to AJ DeBonsa, like, man, if it works out, like, he is going to be one of the 3 best players in the NBA. If it works out. If it doesn't work out, I think he'll still be one of the top 25 players in the NBA. It's going to be good. I never want to see Shed again after this game. Dude is a third string guard. Well, that has never been up for debate, whether he is a third string point guard playing as a second string point guard. I don't think that's ever been under debate. And I've said it multiple times. Like, if the Raptors get an upgrade on him, he's moving down to third string. I love Jamal Shed so much, but there's so many limitations in his game, right? Like, I'm sorry. Like, look, I've drank the Kool-Aid on a lot of the Raptors young players. I have. Collin Murray-Boyles, not so much Grady Dick, but Jacoby, Jamal, Trace. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. There's a hypothetical world and a, slim 2% outcome that these guys become otherworldly, really good starters. It's less of an outcome for Jamal. I think Jamal's best case scenario is he is a moderately average to above average backup point guard. I don't see a starter. I know a lot of people, like to draw the Kyle Lowry comp, myself included, by the way. The Kyle Lowry comp is something that I have very much favored with Jamal. I just think right now he's either injured or he is just not playing right, because you look at Jamal Shed right now and it's turnovers, it's missed shots, it's not a lot of great body language. He really has not been good for a while now. And Darko goes to him because, going to him pushes Emmanuel quickly off the ball. But at some point, you're just going to have to address the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is you just don't have shot creation on this team. When other teams go to dynamic shot creation, whether that be Ant or Jalen Brunson or whatever, and then you go to Brandon Ingram, there is a qualitative and qualitative difference and efficiency difference in the kinds of shots they're able to generate. And I think the lack of stretch big on this team is also something that really hurts them. So there are certain lineups that work, but since Jakob has come back, this has just not been a very good team. And like, if we look at, hold on, let me just see here. And I'm not blaming Jakob, because it's just with him back, I think they're significantly worse defense. And it's not looking so great. Hold on. Let's just look at his game log for a second here. So I want to pull up Jakob Poeltl. So these are the last 5 games. So, okay, he didn't play against OKC. Played against San Antonio. Okay, and then we have this game. So over the last 6 games since he's been back, the Raptors are 3-3. He has a 14% usage. The offense has been very good. The defense has not been that bad with him on the court. And it's a 1.6 boxes minus. He is playing fine, right? He's playing fine. This is definitely an improvement over where he was earlier in the season. If you want to see how bad it got before he got shut down, let me show you the 6 games before he got shut down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So we're at 1.5, 1.6 boxes minus. We were at negative 2.7. If you expand the sample back to start the season, there was a negative 21.1 boxes minus game. He was awful to start the season. So it's just like he had a sort of healthy stretch in the middle. DeMar complaining the other day about paying taxes in Canada doesn't help us acquire talent. Yeah. I mean, he lives in California, so maybe DeMar's just really stupid. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine willfully deciding to go to California and then complaining about Canadian taxes, but cool, man. I get it. One day we're going to make a video explaining how NBA players pay taxes. I think it's going to be very, very interesting for people and illuminating because I don't think most people understand how NBA players pay taxes. But yeah, shout outs to DeMar DeRozan living in Sacramento, California, complaining about Canadian taxes. Like, shut up, man. It's just a pylon at this point. But I love DeMar. So, shout outs to DeMar as well. Our $20 million center can't put up a double-double to save his life. Well, our $20 million center is rarely cracking 25 minutes in a game. So I don't know, man. I don't know how to complain about 14% usage, 1.6 boxes minus, and 70% true shooting. I don't know how to complain about those numbers. But if you want to complain about those numbers, you go right ahead. Now, here's an interesting trend. And again, this is another game for Scotty Barnes where he did not crack 20 points. Take a look at the last several games for Scotty Barnes, who is now down to averaging below 19 points per game for the first time in a long time. Okay, let's just take a look. So there's the advanced box score. So let's see Scotty over the last 10 games, 9 of which he's played. No, 10 of which he's played. Okay, so last 10 games, 3 boxes minus. That is below season averages. 23.5% usage is right around a mark with season averages. 56% usage is right around a mark with season averages. But if you flip it over to just look at the raw numbers, so switch to basic box score, take a look at what those raw numbers look like, and ask yourself, when's the last time Scotty Barnes cracked 20 points? So over his last 6 games, Scotty is averaging 15 points per game. Minus this game that we just played, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and nearly 4 stocks a game, which is like the 4 stocks are awesome. Like 4.3 stocks per game is crazy, but also 15 points per game is insane. You need more. You need more from your max player. You need more from your star player. Now we go back further, and this is really like alarming. Over the last 14 games, Scotty Barnes is averaging 16 points per game. 16 points per game, shooting 16% from 3, shooting 49% from the field, getting to the line a measly 4 times where he shoots 83%, averaging 7.5 rebounds, which is decent, 5 assists, which is decent. Again, nearly 4 stocks, which is great. Nearly 4 stocks a game. But why? Why has the offense gone so far by the wayside? Why are we seeing such a decline in field goal attempts from Scotty Barnes starting in this game against Portland? Well, let's see what happened in this game against Portland. RJ Barrett came back. That's what happened. Since RJ Barrett has come back, we have been at 16 points per game for Scotty Barnes. Now, I want to show you something because this is interesting. Let's ignore that sample size and let's go to the games before. Let's go to the 24 games before that. We're at 19.7. So there has been a 4 point per game decline. What's interesting, though, is we've seen a huge uptick in stocks. So we've gone from 2.4 stocks per game over that stretch, and he's just gone totally AWOL and gone total defense. The field goal percentage remains the same, but we're replacing shots with stocks. That's really it. That's what it is. We are replacing shots with stocks. So he's taking 4 less points and he's adding 2 stocks. What's worth more? 4 points or 2 stocks? I would say obviously 2 stocks is worth more than 4 points. And so, okay, cool. Chasing all defense W. Maybe. I mean, I don't think he needs to chase it. I think he was going to make all defense anyway. But it is interesting to see that his position in this offense has gone down to 4th option behind Emmanuel Quickley, behind RJ Barrett, behind Brandon Ingram. Is this what you want? If you're Bobby Webster and Darko Rajakovic, this is what you want. You want your max player to be your 4th option on offense. You want to relegate him to the OG Anunoby, Aaron Gordon role. It's not like you weren't winning when he was scoring more, right? It's not like he's some detrimental offensive player that you're just having to force feed to keep his stats up and make him look good. No, he's actually a legitimately good basketball player, and he might be one of the top 3 passers in the NBA. Why has the offense gone so far away from Scotty Barnes and so far into Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley? I don't know. This is not a criticism of those 3 players. This is just merely a question that I would ask. Why does my best player not get the ball more? Tyler, one later, said he's not good on offense. I completely disagree with you. Why is he not good on offense? He's a really good finisher. He's an incredible passer. He might be one of the top 5 passers in the NBA. Why is he not good? Why is he not good? Ribby saying Scotty's not a franchise player, and I don't think he wants to be. RJ, no excuses. He can take more shots if he wants to. RJ's no excuse. Well, I mean, I'm not saying RJ is an excuse. I'm just simply pointing out that since RJ has been back, we have seen a 4-point per game decline in Scotty's production. And I don't think that it's a coincidence. He's best player, but not top 2 offensively, in my opinion, especially at 15% from 3. Hey, man, I mean, maybe today was a good turn because I can't remember the last time he said 2 threes in a game. I really can't. In fact, when is the last time Scotty Barnes hit 2 threes in a game? The last time that Scotty Barnes hit 2 threes in a game, this is going to shock even you, December 25th. Sorry, December 18th, 2025. 2025. I said that correctly. 2025 is the last. No, wait. The last time he hit 2 threes, multiple threes, was December 31st. So this is the first time in 2026 that he has hit multiple threes. I wonder if Keeks caught that stat or if I'm going to have to tweet that out right now. That's crazy. That is actually legitimately insane. So, yeah, his 3 has gone by the wayside. He needs to shoot it a lot better. But I genuinely think he's hurt. I think he's been hurt for like the last month-ish. But you know what? People will always say that Scotty apologists, Darko, myself, certain people of the media will always make excuses for Scotty when he's hurt, but we won't make excuses for anybody else when they're hurt. So you know what? Forget about the injury. He's playing really well on defense. I think the defense is starting to wane a little bit as well over the last couple of games. Like, sure, he'll still get stocks every now and again, but he doesn't feel as springy, as active, and he's just not in the right positions anymore, right? So, thoughts on Tatum's quick return? I shared my thoughts via Player's Choice on the panel today. There's a really big segment on it. A lot of people thought that I made a lot of sense there. I don't necessarily want to repeat myself at length because this is a Raptors podcast, but since you have asked, my thoughts are he'll be fine. He got surgery really, really quick. When you have an Achilles tear, there's scar tissue that can form. And if you get the surgery quicker, the scar tissue has less chance to harden, which actually makes the surgery results a lot easier. And whereas previously when you got an Achilles tear, there was a lot of, immobilization was the recommended, recovery. But now we do a lot of load training and a lot of like controlled load training. So my view on this is Jason Tatum is going to be fine. I'm really, really hoping that Scotty has been bad ever since Darko made the speech about him being future MVP, Finals MVP. Okay, let's shit test this. When did Darko say Scotty will be a future MVP? Let's check the date. So the date is February 9th. Let's see. When did Scotty's season fall apart? Nah, man. 13, 22, 14, 19, 17, 10, 15. He'd already been falling off at that point. That's not when it fell apart. Unless I'm wrong about the date, in which case feel free to correct me. But I'm looking at Real GM right now, and yeah, February 9th. So that's not the case. That is not true. Anyways, I have a theory that I think Scotty is saving himself for a later part of the season. I don't think he's forgotten how to be a star. I don't think he is as bad offensively as some people think he is. Yes, he's my favorite player, so I'm gonna, view a lot of things about Scotty with rose-colored glasses. But I refuse to believe that Scotty Barnes is suddenly the fifth option or fourth option on this team. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. That's not the case. He is a better player offensively than RJ Barrett. He's still a better player than Emmanuel Quickley. And I think overall he's a much better player than Brandon Ingram. He's the best player on this team. He is going to be a future finals MVP. There is a lot to work on, obviously. But I remain very hopeful that Scotty is trying to rehab while playing. And that is very hard to do when you're being assigned to guard Jalen Brunson and, Anthony Edwards on back-to-back games, and your team just keeps losing games every time you leave the court. That's happened so many times. Do you realize how many times that has happened? Okay. Here's Scotty's plus minus over the last few games. Against Utah, he was plus 5. Against Minnesota, he was plus 9. Against Chicago, he was plus 10. Against Indiana, he was plus 22. Against Detroit, a game that the Raptors lost by so many points. The Raptors lost by nearly 20 points. He was minus 1. Against Chicago, he was plus 1. Against OKC, again, a game that the Raptors lost by 10. He was plus 18. Okay. Against the Spurs, a game that the Raptors lost by 3. He was negative 3. A game against the Washington Wizards, he was plus 3. And against the New York Knicks, he was minus 2 in a game that the Raptors lost by 16. Do you understand what I'm saying? The Raptors are losing not because of Scotty Barnes. Like, you'd be really stupid not to understand that. Like, the plus minus data is telling you everything. The plus, Atlanta analytics are telling you this. But whether you believe in EPM, BPM, or whatever, everyone can read a simple plus minus chart, right? Scotty doesn't have easy shifts. Scotty has hard shifts. Scotty has a lot of shifts with, less than superstar players on his team playing with him. Sometimes RJ and BI will take a shift, and then Scotty will take a shift with Jacoby in the bench. My point is that very often you are losing the games on the non-Scotty minutes. If you want to do a combined total over the last 10 games, go add up all of Scotty's plus minus, and then go add the value differential on the score, and then just see how much better the team has been when Scotty's been on the court. You know what I mean? Only one game in Feb where RJ played, we won, and he didn't lead in plus minus. Subpar handle, no creation, no shooting, and no burst. All reasons. You're not good on offense. Okay, so no creation, no shooting, and no burst. So no creation is absolutely jack shit bullshit, unless, of course, you only play YMCA basketball and, only learn basketball through N1 mixtapes. I think that's not true. Subpar handle, I can agree with. If your definition of a handle is something that defines like creativity, and if it's not just effectiveness, Scotty has a pretty effective handle. He's gotten a lot better with it. No shooting. I mean, I guess shots in the mid-range don't count. Shooting from the free throw line doesn't count. Like, are we really going to act like Scotty Barnes can't shoot at all just because he can't shoot from 3 right now? Are we going to pretend that he wasn't 50, 40, 90 to start the season? Like, come on, man. Y'all are prisoners of the moment. And of course, the no creation thing. I'm sorry, passing is part of creation. Scotty's one of the 5 best passers in the NBA for me. The question came up on the panel today: who is the best American passer? So obviously, excluding Jokic, excluding Luca, excluding well, obviously not excluding Shea. I mean, my honest answer would probably be Trae Young or Tyrese Halliburton, but the conversation was, is it LaMelo Ball? And then I, very funny, said, I guess this all depends on a question. Is West Palm Beach in these here United States? Is it in the continental United States? And people are like, ah, man. Listen, you give me an opening to talk about Scotty Barnes on the panel. I'm going to talk about Scotty Barnes on the panel. Scotty's awesome. Tough loss for the Raptors tonight. Hopefully a fun, not so serious episode for you guys. A little bit of life advice peppered in there, a little bit of a Pendants update peppered in there without getting too, whiny about the AI situation. Yeah, we have meetings upon meetings upon meetings for Pendants this week. We had a bunch today. I told you about the sponsor meeting. There was another one as well. We have 2 meetings tomorrow. So I'm still busy in the wrap-up mode of Pendants. Still have a bunch of videos to edit. Pendants is a really weird thing because it's like on the surface, like when people look at it from outside, they're like, oh, that's like a $50, $80, $100, $20,000 film festival. No, sir. It is a very, 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 Rob, looking forward to selling those short films. Johnny, I still have to reach out to some of the Canadian filmmakers, but we would love it. And we were actually thinking, like, let's talk about doing like something satellite based for the Canadian program next year, like doing a simultaneous screening so that people can feel like their film is also screening in other parts of Canada. We're gonna think about doing satellite screening, maybe in Calgary, maybe in Vancouver, maybe in PEI, maybe in Montreal. I think especially Montreal because that would be awesome. Tough 3600 said someone with no handle or creation is averaging 19 somehow. Yeah, I mean, but don't look after this game. You might be averaging 18.9. Thoughts on trading everyone over 25 and doubling down on being good in 3 years with primetime Scotty? Dude, I think the window has passed. Once you miss this draft, you've missed everything. Sorry to say, this draft was a gold mine in the top 5. Every single one of those players, from Kingston Flemings to, Caleb Wilson, Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonso. Those are like the types of players those are the types of talents you want to put next to Scotty Barnes long term. Those are the types of guys who can take the reins of being like a all-star, 8-time all-star, 10-time all-star. I'm not saying they all will be, but I'm saying at least 1 or 2 of those guys will be, 8 to 10-time all-stars. And so, those are the types of talents you want to tank for. I'm not really sure the 2027 draft is one that I want to tank for. And then also, like, we have the expansion draft coming up. We have league relocation. We have a team coming out into the West, to the East. This is going to be a really tough thing for the Raptors because I don't think your future is as bright right now, like as your team is constructed, as the Pistons or the Hornets. So you're not really winning the future rankings per se. I do think it's a slightly brighter future than the Cavaliers and the Magic, but who knows? But yeah, the Raptors desperately need a hit in next year's draft. Like they desperately need a hit in next year's draft. They need tremendous growth from Collin Murray-Boyles going forward. They need one of Jacoby or Grady to just have an incredible summer where they just come out next year and are great. And they need to get something very, very good for RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickley or Jakob Poeltl or Brandon Ingram, frankly. They need to get like some incredible young talent. Like this team has a lot to do. They have a lot to do this summer. They had a lot to do last summer. And Jarrett K. Osei saying, I think the healthy Magic are better than us. I hear you, but when you're saying healthy Magic, I'm not really sure like what this figment of an imagination team really is at this point, right? Like I can see an argument for them being better. I can. The Raptors are just very mediocre right now, and I'm not sure how people feel about that. I think mediocre is a huge step up from bad, which is where the Raptors were last year. They were a bad team, and now they're a mediocre team. So but I think a lot of people would feel better if Scotty was averaging like 24, 25 points per game, taking over games. These games are super close because I think at least what Scotty represents is kind of a limitless potential of what could be a star. I think what Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, and Brandon Ingram represent is stopgap solutions and sort of middling sub all stars. Now, I think that it's probably like one of the best things to happen this season is Brandon Ingram being named an all stars. I just think that's really great for his resume and potentially even like if he's shopped this summer. But yeah, like didn't feel like an all star today. Um, Scotty didn't feel like an all star, hasn't felt like an all star for nearly a month now. And so, yeah, I think the Raptors are going to have to do some real digging, but it doesn't matter how you're playing in March. It matters how you're playing in April. And so the Raptors still have a little bit of time to get themselves back in order. There will be some more lives devoted to March Madness. So I'm trying to get all the pendant stuff done so that I can ease my load. I also have a huge thing coming up, which is I would like to not restart, but finish up my feature film. Some of you may remember 2.5 years ago, I was doing color on my feature film. I don't know if people remember this. Hold on. Do y'all remember this? Let me show you something real quick. So, hold on. Share. Okay. So, do y'all remember this? Do y'all remember me talking about this film, The Intersection? Where one of my really good friends, Rob Cormier, he passed away. He was in it. Anyways, come to the conclusion that I want to redo a voiceover. I want to redo the music for it, and I want to release it properly. The truth is, I'll make other films in my life. I know I will. I know I'm going to get back to filmmaking, and I think I'm going to be awesome at it. But Rob is not coming back to life. So at this point, I got to finish this film for Rob and make it good. I want to get it to film festivals. I want to be able to release it in theaters. I want people to be able to see it. I think it's a good film. It's a good film. It has really decent performances. It has a very good story, and I just don't want like the picture of young Rob. Well, not young Rob. This is like 5 years ago, Rob. Um, Man, it looks so different there. Holy shit. Third quarters always fuck us over. Yeah, we've actually been a pretty decent third quarter team, actually. Believe it or not, that's not entirely true. If you want to see a team that's always fucked over by third quarters, why don't you look at the Philadelphia 76ers? The Philadelphia 76ers are the worst third quarter team in NBA history. So that's a fun fact for you. But yes. Also, shout outs to people who caught our lives on Penn Dance. I know some people were very annoyed by it. It's like, Rob, what the hell are you doing? Penn? Question mark. What are you doing? Yeah, like we shared a couple of those videos on Penn Dance and we streamed it to Penn Dance because we wanted people to, have an opportunity. I don't want to assume that you guys didn't want to watch that stuff. Obviously, a lot of you didn't since we had like 25 live viewers on some of those videos, but they were really cool. And shout outs to the people who did. I know that James Welsh was there. I know that a couple of other people were there as well asking questions. So I really appreciate that. Shout out Nick Nurse. Absolutely. Shout out Nick Nurse, one of my most absolute worst coaches in the NBA. Anyways, I'm going to catch y'all later. Maybe we do a live tomorrow. When are the Raptors playing next? Oh, man, I appreciate that. I like the live Penn Dance videos. Thank you. I appreciate that so much, James. Let me see here. When the fuck are the Raptors playing next? ESPN. I was there. I love the one about tattoos. Yeah. So Lindsay, incredible human. She made this film, and it's about this woman. She's a tattoo witch, and she puts tattoos on people who have scars, like unsightly scars. And of course, as someone who has a 39-stitch scar across my head and a brain tumor scar, I am like very much for scars. Like I am very anything about scars. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't have a single tattoo, but I never really thought about putting a tattoo on my forehead. So the film looked gorgeous from little I saw from live. Oh, it is absolutely stunning film. Thank you, Johnny. Let's talk at some point, maybe in a couple months when we have a clearer idea of the satellite stuff. But I will independently reach out to a couple of the filmmakers. A couple of the films just went on YouTube, believe it or not. Like two of the films that were at Pendance, right after Pendance, they ended up releasing one of them through a really, really big online channel, Omletto, which is really cool. And the other one just went on YouTube. So there's a funny film called Men Who Fish that's now on YouTube that was at Pendance twice. And there's also a film called Cycles, uh, which is now on Omeletto, which is really good. I love Cycles. So definitely go check those out if you can. But I'll see like who else is feeling a need for a theatrical exhibition, and we can re-talk about the details a little bit and just figure out how that would work. The Raptors next play on Sunday, which means they have 2 days off, which is good, and they're playing against Dallas, which is also good because that should be a win. And hopefully, with the next little stretch here, we got Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, Phoenix, Detroit. I think that should be a win, 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 win. I think that should be 4 wins. If the Raptors want to be serious right now, they need to get 4 wins here. Worst case scenario, 3-1. I'm gonna say this right now. Anything less than 3-1, this is a disaster stretch. You lose to anyone but Houston on this stretch. I know you're on the road for 2 of these games. I really don't care. You cannot lose to Dallas. You cannot lose to Phoenix. You cannot lose to New Orleans. I understand sort of if you lose to Phoenix because Phoenix is like a good team, but you need to win 1 you're not supposed to win, and you need to win the 2 you're supposed to win, and then lose the 1 you're not supposed to win. Like, I'd be great with 4-0, perfectly fine with 3-1. I'd be really crushed at 2-2, and I think I would hit the panic button on this entire season at 1-3 or 0-4. Like 0-4, a 6-game losing streak at this point would just be like, okay, we are officially in the play-in now. Yeah. Phoenix just lost. To who? They lost to Chicago? They lost to Chicago. How the fuck did this happen? That's insane. That is truly insane. I mean, it wasn't for a lack of trying, man. I guarantee you, Phoenix was trying to win and Chicago was trying to lose, and somehow that game still ended up at 105, 103. Sometimes that happens, it's hard. It's hard to rig a game like this. I think Houston is very beatable. They've got similar flaws. I agree with you. I agree with that they are beatable. I know the team that we are and how we're playing right now, and I just don't think that they are going to be beaten. But shout outs to the Raptors if they beat the Houston Rockets. I mean, I would love for this team to go 4-0, build up some momentum here. But obviously, after that stretch, you are heading into Detroit, which is almost definitively lost. Then you have Chicago, Denver, Phoenix, Utah, LA, New Orleans. Like, you could realistically say, let's see. Let's count up the wins for the rest of the season. Let's just count up the wins that I think are going to be wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if the Raptors get 11 wins more, they're a 46-win team. That would be awesome. The video is still up on Rob's channel. It was so good. Highly recommend. The video is still up? It's supposed to be down. There were a lot of really good films, Tetrahedron. I think, there was a lot of really, really good films at Pendance this year. Incredible films, really, across the world. So I'm very, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about it, but I don't think this is the appropriate place for me to share my wrap-up thoughts on Pendance. Maybe I need to make a live video and just post it straight to the Pendance channel. And maybe I will do that. But anyways, did you take the interview down? Yeah, we promised the filmmakers that we would take the interviews down since they had like 1-minute clips of their films. So I just thought that that was fair. But also, like, good for you because you got to watch it and a lot of other people won't. I think they were great conversations. I've talked to Lindsay since then. She's kind of become like a friend, which is really cool. Have you watched Peaky Blinders? You know what? People are always shocked to hear how behind the times I am when it comes to TV shows. I have not watched Peaky Blinders, dude. I have also not watched Mad Max. I have also not watched Dexter. There's so many shows I have not watched. But do you know what show I got into recently? Really funny. Rookie Blue. Now, I'm not suggesting this show. It's not the greatest or whatever. I just happened to find that the lead actress was really hot. So, anyways, ended up watching the show, and I also love cop shows for whatever reason. And then my girlfriend got super into it, so I was already 4 seasons ahead of her, so now she's playing catch up, so we can watch season 5 and season 6 together. Ah, man, there's nothing like your mid-30s to watch some show from 2012 with your girlfriend. Yeah. Anyways, also, I don't ever do this, but I actually wanna do this right now. I wanna give a big shout out to my girlfriend because over the last week and a half, I have not been taking care of myself, and she has totally taken care of everything. Like, I have not been eating, like, super well, and she just gets me, like, these amazing dinners, and she's been making them, which, honestly, my girlfriend, not the greatest cook. I am the cook in this relationship. I am good at cooking. My girlfriend is not good at cooking, but, yo, over the last week and a half, she's been really good at cooking, and she's been really, really patient, and she's been a really good source of information. Like, when I'm freaking out about something, she's usually a person who's giving good advice. I gotta tell you, not to asterisk every single compliment here, but she's usually giving very bad advice. But last week and a half, she's been giving really great advice. So I don't really know. Maybe some shift has happened in her, but it felt really good. And I don't usually give shout outs to my girlfriend, but I wanted to say thanks to her because she's been really supportive. And there was something that I heard today, and I just want to share this as the last thing because it just kind of made me happy. Someone said, Rob, I've been listening to you for 4 years. I come to Penn Dance every year. I watch your basketball show from time to time. I worked on set with you once as an actor. He's like, you're the same person in every single setting. You don't change. You never change on Penn Dance stage. You're not two different people. Every time I see you, you're like a better version of the same person that I met before. And I thought that was so interesting. Can you imagine a person running a film festival as the same person who's running a basketball podcast? People would have code switching, people would have vernacular shipping, but I don't actually sound that different in person. I'm not like telling a different version of myself because it's appropriate. But obviously, like the version of me, like if I were to construct this, the version of me that's a basketball person is like, oh yeah, I'm into sports all the time, whatever, whatever. The live with Lindsay is still available in your lives on your channel. Which channel? Tetrahedron. Which one? Pensare Basketball or Pendants? Which one? Or Pensare Films? Can you please let me know? Like, how are you seeing it? If it is it on this channel? Because if you can see it, it's because it's member. Oh, dude, it's members only. I'm pretty sure it's members only. I'm gonna double check right now, but I think it's only members. So now you're just showing off that you're a Pensare Basketball member. Yeah, it's okay for members only. Don't worry. That's basically a private video. Okay, show off. I wanted to watch it again. Well, luckily, you can watch it again because it is members only. Yes, I just looked. Both videos are members only. Yeah. I was so disappointed. This is great. Perfect. Yeah. And the second video was incredible too. Yeah. I'm telling you, this team's biggest issue isn't size, it's talent and shooting. We should have tried to get guys like Kobe White, Jock Londale, instead of got Trace Jackson Davis, who are not even playing. Honestly, man, like if your view is talent, wait, I'm telling you, this team's biggest issue isn't size, it's talent and shooting. So talent and shooting. And so you think that, well, I guess Jock Londale is a much better shooter than Trace Jackson Davis. I'll give you that. Which was the second video? Did I miss that? You absolutely did. You totally did. It is called here, let me show you. It was horrible, by the way. I messed up the intro. Directing their first film that is showing at Pendance. This is very exciting. So we're going to bring those directors on one by one. We're going to show their clip. We're going to tell you a little bit about these directors, and some of them have done some selected, but we were too late to select it. Joan Iola, man. This woman is such a legend. It's ridiculous. I was honestly a little bit intimidated. A little bit intimidated. She is an like there are very few filmmakers that I genuinely feel like I am almost like in awe of their artistry. She is one of them. She is incredible. Her writing is chef's kiss. Amazing. Definitely watch it. Listen to them. It's four directors breaking down their work. It's super interesting. It's like to all the members. It's a good one. Anyways, I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Enjoy. Have a good night. The Raptors hopefully will find winning ways on Sunday. We will do a video before then for sure. And just a heads up to our members, we're back to do members lives. And hopefully if I can get through pendant stuff tomorrow, I'll have all of Saturday and all of Sunday to create an awesome members live for you guys. I promise, as God is my witness, I will not let I'm not gonna let this drop. Like, I know I have a lot of other things to do, but Pensare Basketball is like, it's one of the most meaningful things in the world to me. This community means the world to me. So this is not like Rob abandoned us for a film festival. Please don't view it that way. But the film festival is very important to me as well. It is all very important to me. And one day we're going to bring it all together. We're going to bring it all together. The basketball is going to come together with the film, is going to come together with the festival. And maybe one day what we're going to do is we're going to do a live taping of Pensare Basketball at Pendants. Or maybe we're going to do like a live show. We're going to bring, 400, 500 people and have a player there. And that's going to be at Pendants. I'm telling you, man, my dreams are getting big again. I didn't dream big for a really long time, but I'm starting to dream big again. And I don't know. Who would it be? Maybe it'd be Allen Houston. Maybe it'd be Carter Bryant. Maybe it'd be Scotty Barnes. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll talk to y'all later. I appreciate that, James. Thank you very much. We can rest up for the film festival. Well, from the film festival. The festival is over now. Yeah. But yes, as the festival is over, I still haven't finished all the work. There's still thank you emails that need to go out. There's wrap-up emails. There's posts, videos. There's all that stuff. So I got to spend I'm going to say, honestly, it's about 48 hours left. There's 48 hours of work left. I don't know how I'm going to disperse that, probably over the next 4 days. But after that, I'm good. And then after that, it's just meetings and maintenance. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a beautiful night. Peace.